soon as y'all join me, let me know if you can hear me talking or not. All my mics are plugged in, so I'm not sure what the problem is. Yay, you hear me, yay. Okay, I don't know what the issue is, but, you know, or was. Yay, okay. I played back the little bit of the part 1 sound issues recording, and I did put that in the title really quick. And at the end, yeah, there's no sound. You can't hear anything. So I don't know what the issue is. My mic is working, and just in case, there's a backup mic in the webcam. So if one's not working, the other one should be. So I don't know what the deal was. Okay, so when Anne had us do our slow stitch books, she had us do the cover in 3 pieces. So a front, a back, and then a spine. She hasn't done her video on the cover yet, but I'm going to go ahead and start putting mine together. Oh, before we get started, I was going to show you the preview of some of the new sticker flakes. So they're not cut out yet. These are the sheets I have to sit and cut out this afternoon. These ones I shared recently on social media, and I print them like this. You get 15 pieces in one of the packets. I choose them at random. There's usually, I try not to do too many doubles, but there are some that I know if it was me that I'd want 2 of, like this one. So, and then this is the new one. Do you all recognize these? So I'm going to be cutting a bunch of these out tonight. And you'll get at least, like I said, at least 15 pieces in each little pack of sticker flakes. So those have to be cut out later. Okay, so first thing I think we're going to do is we're going to base this on. I'm going to just use, I think I'm going to just use this thread that I have in here. I don't think I want to use embroidery floss. I think I want to just use this. I do think I'm going to just use single strand instead of double. This is quilting thread. Upholstery thread. So I'm going to just do running stitch. So I think I'm going to just do running stitch and attach this on here. And I do think I have some pieces of lace. This is from Lisa. And I'm thinking about putting like this one here on the front. How cute would that be on there? My chair is very squeaky. Yeah, so I think I'm going to put this lace on here. But first we're going to stitch this down. Just a running stitch. You don't need to get fancy with it. And I'm not even doing super small stitches. These are kind of big. The one thing I'm not going to do is put too much towards this end of the front, because I do think this is a little bit long, and some of this is going to be hidden underneath or attached to the spine. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do that yet. So I think that most of the decorations are going to be in the front, like 3/4 over here towards one end. I'm also not doing these running stitches like too close to the edge. I'm staying about 1/4 inch away. And I'm not sure if I want to go up and down through the whole thing or if I want to just go around the edge. What do you all think? See, just like that. I know it's hard to see because it's like white on white. It gives it some texture though. I think I maybe want to go around the edge, at least for the moment. So yeah, the sticker flakes will be cut by hand. It's just way less frustrating. And it's also one of those sort of mindless tasks that helps relax you. You don't really have to think about it. You just sit with a pair of scissors and a little garbage bucket for the scraps. Do it while I'm watching YouTube or watching TV. Right now we're puppy sitting again for the kids. And so it's a little hard to get some things done sometimes with the dog kind of always being underfoot, but it's all good. Running out of thread. What else? I have. Okay, first I need to thread this needle because I can't think. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna like this on here. Do I want this lace on here somewhere though too? Lace and lace maybe. Lace and lace. Ooh, that's pretty. So I don't know about you all, but this is what I do. I layer elements on top of each other until I get something I like. Yeah, so that, I like that. All right, so I'm gonna cut this. Yay, Linda, you're back, yay. Barb, good morning. Yeah, we had some sound issues. There's a part 1, but you know, it's the apocalypse, people. I don't know what to tell you. I haven't tried like StreamYard or anything like that. I'm just using the YouTube thing. Yeah, I really like that. So we're going to end up putting that on the cover. So I'm going to put that aside because I need to get this basted on here. So again, for those who missed it in the first one because you weren't there or because of the sound issues, next week we will be live, but we will be live on Wednesday instead of Tuesday. I have a telehealth doctor appointment. And I can't do it Tuesday. I'm going to switch to a bigger needle. Hey, Eva. I hope everybody comes back who was in the other one. I have a separate snowball mic, and it was on the whole time, so I don't know what the deal was. I have no idea. All right, so we are working on our slow stitch book cover. I also have the October project ready to go. I'm going to be making another pan of Daniel Smith watercolors, my complete collection. I have a studio set. I'm going to be making an emergency go bag set. after things happened between the apocalypse, aka COVID, and the fires. It's finally gotten my husband and I to make emergency bags. So for me, besides clothing and medication, I need to be able to take some art supplies with me because if I get completely stressed out because of something like having to leave my house in a hurry, I need something to keep me sane. And yeah, I need to feel like I saved something if I have time to come get it, if it's already packed. So I'm going to be making a set of Daniel Smith watercolors. Now, when I'm doing these, if I get a little piece of like the batting that's sticking out one edge, like I'm not being too precious about making sure it's straight and even. I don't mind if it's a little bit messy or if the edges of the fabric are raw. I've done the whole book that way. So I'm just basting this around the edge so that the fabric is attached. So what are you all doing to keep the stress handled? Are you able to do any sort of mindless crafting, journaling, writing, listening to music, walking, doing? For me, as always, crafting and doing things like the stitching and stuff helps a lot. Always has. So because these 2 points hang off over the edge, I think I want this point, a little point here to hang off over the edge too. Oh, how cute, Lisa Osland. That's a good idea. Yeah, I think I'm back into the stitching and sewing and needlework because, like with a lot of you, it reminds me of, old sort of happier times, right? And my grandmother, my dad's mom, she's no longer with us, but it reminds me of her. And the other thing I've noticed too is partially, I'm sure because my daughter is now a new homeowner and married, but also because of COVID, I think, and the fact that she works in travel and hasn't been working. She's asking me suddenly, hey, mom, how do you make this? Hey, mom, how do you do that? Which she never did before, which is great. Oh, I'm so sorry, Eva. Yeah, so slow stitching, embroidery, cross stitch, sort of these old timey crafts that remind us of happier times. I've been doing more of these since this whole thing started than paint. Not that I'm not still painting and drawing. If you follow me on Instagram, I'm still doing those things. But these remind me of happier times. And, we all kind of need that reminder. Not that we want to ignore what's going on because that's not smart. You need to be aware of what's happening. But yeah, do I want to use this thread? I was about to do this, but I'm not sure I want to use this thread. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I think I do. Yeah, condolences, Eva. This is such a horrible time to, lose loved ones. I mean, it's never a good time, but y'all know what I mean. This is just horrible. Because we're already, stressed out and if it's a medical situation and you can't get into the hospital to see them. And I know people in my personal life who that's happened to, and it's just not great. So I'm going to just use this same thread, which you aren't going to be able to see. I don't think it's going to barely show up, and I just poked myself. See, that's the other thing is I'm cleaning and purging and finding things. I'm like, oh, wait, I saved that for a reason. And, now is the time to use them up and make that blanket. I think that's a great idea. Make that blanket and use this stuff up. Or the other thing, of course, that I'm doing, as you all have seen if you're following me, is I've been, if I can't use it and I can't, just I don't love it, and it's just like the silhouette portrait machine, it's just kind of blocking my way and blocking my creativity. I just get angry when I look at it. It's got to go away. Yeah, so Eva, welcome to my world. So thank you, Mrs. Menopause, as I say often, between the, other things you have to deal with menopause, arthritis, insomnia. I also have anxiety disorder. So the insomnia thing happens without any help from hormones. Hey, Aunt Beck, how are you? So I prefer when I'm slow stitching to use a really big needle, because I am usually going through multiple layers of fabric like I am right now. And when I'm using a small thin needle, it's too hard for me to hold. It's too hard for me to push it through. Like Eva was saying, I'm not young anymore. My hands don't work the way they used to. And the bigger needles, I prefer the bigger, longer needles. This is actually a short one compared to some of the ones I have. I prefer this bigger one. This is a Japanese slow stitching needle. There's a name for it, which I can never remember. Right, Lisa? 2020 cannot come soon, and 2021, sorry, cannot come soon enough. My dad made a joke recently about his mother when he did something wrong, threatening to slap him into next year. And he said, okay, I'm ready. I'm like, Dad, I remember hearing that. I'm ready too. So I'm just using this upholstery thread to just base these down before I do any, fancier stitches, mostly just because this is easy to do on camera and talk to you all at the same time. Oh, I hope so, Aunt Beck. The older we get, the harder that is to do when you need work, because they aren't supposed to age discriminate, but they do. It's not about perfection. And I'm using white on white thread, but let me see if I can hold this up to the camera. Can you see that? Those are not perfect. They're not teeny tiny. They're big stitches. They're not even in necessarily a straight line. So it's not about perfection. And I always tell you all that. It's not about perfection. It's just about the, art of the process and creating and doing something that you love. There's no right way. There's no wrong way. There's only your way. Thank you. Yeah. So this is going to be the cover of our slow stitch book at some point. So again, for those who are unfamiliar with Ann Brooke's channel, Ann Brooke, textile artist here on YouTube, and she started this whole slow stitching thing at the beginning of the year. It was supposed to be a year-long project on her channel, doing the spools, which I've done, and I'm going to go back to doing a couple more spools. And then COVID happened, and everybody found her channel, everybody's slow stitching, and so she had to start a new project. So she started a slow stitch book. So this is my book, and I think it's going to be backward on camera because I don't know why. So I think the picture seems flipped. So I've already attached the pages together. So you do the pages separate, and in between you leave them like this. And then when you get your pages done, you sew them together. These are the two outside pages. I've already done the inside pages and I've sewn them together. Oh, it's correct. Okay, good. On the YouTube thing, it looks backwards, just FYI. Of course, I've put words and quotes everywhere because that's who I am. My art's always been about that. It's pretty standard for me to use words in my art. That's just a normal Gina thing. No matter what kind of art I'm doing, I seem to always put words. I put a few pockets with fabric tags. Some of my little cross-stitching pieces are in here. Some old vintage lace from my grandmother's sewing box, bits and pieces of fabric, trims and buttons and things from friends, some of you all who are watching. And so this is what the inside of the book looks like. So as I make the outside, I'm trying to use some of the same colors and elements on the outside. I couldn't help but add a piece of driftwood. I don't know why exactly, but you know, it's a thing. So that's the inside of the book. So as I do the outside, front and back covers, we'll be using some of those same elements. So yeah, so Kathy, I love the slow stitch book. I have to say though, if I was going to do it again, it was a challenge to work on. And because it's a cloth book, when it got too fat to work on, so for instance, when you're working on this last page, like this, like drives me crazy. Like that's hard to work on. But because it's a cloth book, you could do this to make it flatter. There would be something to be said for doing it with the pages before you sew it together. But I kind of enjoyed the challenge. Hey, Patricia. And some of the elements that I've been using in the slow stitch, I've had some of these since like 2006. Like sitting in a box in a corner. So it's fun to use some of those elements that have just been sitting around. But I don't know if I did it again, if I would sew the book together again before I decorated all the pages. I might do them separate and then sew it together, if that makes sense. But yeah, it's nice and fat and chunky. It's really pretty. She has a whole series of videos on her channel for doing the slow stitch book. And there's a bunch of people on Facebook, Instagram, and here on YouTube that are doing the slow stitch books if you want some more inspiration. Yeah, Aunt Beck, I hope your move goes smoothly. 2 years later, I'm still trying to find things and trying to figure out, did I purge that in the move? And if I did, why did I purge that? What was I thinking? That topic of conversation just came up last night with my daughter. So I love the colors in here too. I chose colors that made me happy. So I know. So she has a whole thing on her channel about putting it together, but basically, I'll show you with this one. So basically, pretend this is like one pair of pages. So you fold it in half, you fold the one next to it in half, and then you sew them here. Then you put another one, then you sew it there. Then you put another one, then you sew it there. Does that make sense, Barbara? And then by the time you're done, I sewed mine a little tight, so it looks like that. I shouldn't have sewn it that tightly. Well, that's a Gina mistake. You have to kind of really pull it apart to see all the different, I pulled it too tightly. And then I decided to, like she does, use one consistent kind of fabric throughout the whole book. And I had this sort of off-white on white print cotton quilting fabric in my stash already. So I used that on all the pages, and then I ran out of that. And this was like in the middle of COVID. So in the background of all the pages have something similar like that in there. And so then I had to go find something at Joann's that that was a similar. So yeah, so I found some more. So I got some more. It's been 2 years. It was 2 years at the beginning of September, Eva. I can't believe it's been 2 years already either. I'm still looking for things. Last night, my daughter was asking me how to make fabric pumpkins for her fall display at her new house. And let me see, I cut myself yesterday. And, asking me about an old wooden dough bowl that I used to have. And I don't have it anymore because I remember purging it. And I remember as soon as it was gone thinking I shouldn't have gotten rid of that. So I miss my old wooden dough bowl. I used to just, use it for display. And I used to have some spools too, wooden spools, antique wooden spools. And I got rid of all of them before I moved. And then now Bob's making spools and I'm buying a few. So, I am more careful about what I purge because if I think I'm going to regret it, then I hang on to it for a little bit. Yeah, so you totally could do them separately, Barbara, and she talks about that in one of her videos, and some people are doing that. And it would be, to be honest, some of the stitching would be easier if you did them separately. Because it got a little challenge. You kept having to kind of bend the book back on itself to get to some of the pages. So Kathy, her name is Anne Brooke, Brooke, textile artist. And she goes by that here on YouTube and also over on Instagram. Yay, Estella, yay. And she is wonderful. She's a wonderful inspiration here on YouTube. And when I find somebody who I find interesting, I definitely try to share. I also find that slow stitching, is giving me a reason to dig out of the ashes of, crazy places in my sewing room, things like, little mini cross stitch things that I've done, getting the kit, not only getting the kit stitched, but then using the little piece in something like in the slow stitch book, the trims that I've been hoarding and things like that. We all have bits and pieces like that in our art stash that we have been holding on to. We don't have the heart to get rid of. At the same time, we can't figure out why we still have them. And so, people like her give us that aha moment, which we all need right now. The yellow, blue, and gray together, aren't they great? They were just colors that I thought made me happy. For some reason, I've been doing quite a few of these slow stitches with like gray and yellow. To be honest, yellow is not a color that I'm like super fond of. But for some reason, it keeps showing up in my work. The other place that I'm finding that's holding my attention and keeping me busy and keeping me inspired is Mike Deacon's Mission Inspiration Facebook group. And making the stupid zombie dolls. Holy cow. We almost made zombie dolls today. So for those of you who, some of you may not find it amusing. And for those, I will apologize in advance. But being raised Catholic and being in the midst of the worldwide situation that we're in, and being someone who's already sort of been trying to work through the stress of the pandemic by making zombie dolls like Miss Coronavirus, I've decided to make the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse. And so that's going to be something that's coming up. there will be a zombie doll pattern. I've developed my own version of the zombie doll pattern, and that will be something that will be available in the Etsy shop starting on the 8th of October. And there also will be a video with instructions. Lisa Osland, I think that's a great idea. And, we have a couple of different art Facebook groups that you totally can share these in. My creative year is strictly for art stuff and not other stuff. And, when we started out with, you have to just do this, do that. But it's really just an art sharing group. And so, whatever you are doing creatively that you want to share over there, this year we're working on color, but I think it would be a great idea if you create some slow stitching pages. If you do a book, if you share it over there, share the pages. We can make zombie dolls next week. I already have them cut out in case you don't believe me. And I made notes. Y'all know I never do notes. So this one is famine or pestilence, black. This one is war. This one is conquest. And this one is death. So I went by the Catholic version of the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse. And yeah. So we can totally make zombie dolls next time. Yeah, my way of working through things is talking about them and letting it go. And, in light of the current world situation, what else can you do but laugh? I mean, honestly. But yeah, I've made Miss Coronavirus, Mr. TP Shortage. Like, there's a whole series of zombie dolls. And if you guys want to go over that next time, we can totally do that next week. But October 8th, there's a full instructional video coming out. There's a pattern coming out and a few other surprises, which I can't talk about. Yep, I used to collect rag dolls, so I'm right there with you. Carol, I love rag dolls. I love faceless dolls. I really have a thing for faceless dolls. Yeah. It's just, we all have different ways of working through things, and there's no wrong way. There's just your way. So that lace is stuck down there. So now I just have to sew around this little, I don't know if it's a napkin or what. Lisa Swank sent it to me. Let me catch up on the comments here. So yeah, you totally could, let's see. You totally could do a slow stitch book and work on colors of the equinox, colors of the season, colors of your mood. Why couldn't you? Why couldn't you? And you could do the little tag that, there's little pockets in here with that little tag, and you could maybe even write some feelings or thoughts on the tag and stick it in there. Mr. TP Shortage. I've got Mr. TP Shortage. He's, I've posted pictures of the dolls on social media. So if you follow me on Instagram, you might be able to search and find them on my Instagram. Except for the last couple, because the video's not out yet, and the pattern's not released yet. Everything else has been on Instagram and Facebook, including Mr. TP Shortage. Miss Coronavirus. Mr. Shut Your Mouth. there's a whole series of them. A set for wine glass coasters. Okay, there you go. I don't think anybody's done a toilet paper page in their journals yet. I did the zombie doll, so then I didn't feel the need to do it again. And, I thought, Eva, who was it that just wrote that? The kid. Now the chat's all. I got you all talking about it. Chat's going crazy. So Eva, yeah, Bob and I were just commenting last night that you can tell it's still 2020 because although there's no more TP shortage, every time you go to the store, there's a new shortage on something else that's just crazy and insane, and none of them make any sense. Thank you, Barbara. Oh, Estella, Rag Witch Doll. Oh, I love that. So again, I'm just doing large sort of basting size running stitches. I am not doing small stitches. Mood colors. Totally, you could do mood colors. And you could, if you're like me and you like to have words be part of your work, you totally could do one of those little tags, put some kind of, artwork, fabric, textile work on the front of it. And then on the back, do a little bit of writing on the back. The base of the tag could definitely be cardstock, and you could do some gluing or of fabric and embroidery to the front, or you could totally paint the tag and stick it in the pocket. And on the back, write your thoughts. I do plan on putting some kind of note or letter or something into the box with the zombie dolls at some point. About 2020, my grandchildren someday are going to just think I'm totally gone off the deep end, but that's okay. I'm just going to tell them, look, you weren't there. It was 2020. Oh, Carol, yeah, I hope your husband gets better soon. And just because we're not young anymore doesn't mean we can't keep learning and we can't keep exploring and enjoying life. 2020 be damned, to be honest. Yeah, and I made a joke in one of the art Facebook chats not long ago. It kind of started when I moved, but COVID really set it into a firm thing. I think I've pretty much stopped wearing a bra. I know TMI, but I love the tops of the shelf. I don't leave the house much. What's the point? Some days I never get out of my pajama pants. No, we have a lot of places here in Oregon that still aren't taking cash. You have to have plastic. Okay, so that's all attached now. And I didn't get any blood on it. Yay. That's a miracle. So one thing you should probably add to your slow stitching kit, tied to go stick, just in case. So look at that. That's cute. All right, so let's attach our paper piecing things. And I catch up on the chat while I'm threading the needle. Let's see. Pajamas are all the rage. I agree. And I'm not going to be surprised when this is all over if companies don't have all the employees go back to work, and some people end up just staying at home, working at home. Becky, you were wondering about what with Becky? Hold on. Oops. Everything has gone up. So I'm just kind of catching up on the chat. I don't know about you all, but my husband likes to get the big bag of the little tiny bags of potato chips. They have like 24 in them or something. They used to be like $5, $6 maybe. We've seen them now as much as $12. Like everything has gone up so much. Um, yeah, so yoga pants. Um, I mean, we don't go anywhere. Listen, I hate grocery shopping, but now it's gotten to the point where when I couldn't go out for 2 weeks because of the fires and the air quality and my asthma, I felt like I was in jail and I couldn't wait to go back to the grocery store. Oh, I'm sorry, Lisa. Oh, that's terrible. The overbuying is crazy. And every time we go to the store, it's something different that people have just decided that they need to, I don't know, for whatever reason, buy like crazy. Yeah, if I wear a regular bra, it's a sports bra. If you can call that a regular bra. The only time in the last year I put a regular bra on was when my daughter got married. Even though it was like family only because of COVID, she says, "Mom, can you please wear a dress and not stretchy pants and put a bra on?" She actually was like, "No, Mom, you can't wear that." I'm like, "Oh man, okay." Yeah, every time you go in, it's a new cleaner thing. I never use Pine Sol because it makes me cough and wheeze, Linda Stevens. And so, we still have trouble sometimes finding alcohol, 90% alcohol around here in Oregon. So now I'm just going to use little tiny stitches to attach our hexagons. I'm not going to do anything real big. I am going to want to do some decorative stitching on here, but at least for the part that we're live, I wanted to get things just attached. Now I almost never use a hoop, an embroidery hoop or anything. So my pieces sometimes get a little bit wrinkly, but I usually just try to use stuff that is ironable so I can give it a good press afterwards if it bugs me. Yeah, some of the funny things about COVID are that, suddenly I'm not wearing a bra. The walk of shame, the new walk of shame is when you have to go walk back to the car, or worst case, go all the way back home because you forgot your mask. I mean, things like that. You never thought, the other funny thing I find is that I can go out in public with a mask on and, people don't any longer look at me like I'm about to rob a bank or something. Soap and water are good as the molecules of COVID are fat-based and they cannot hold onto each other in soap. Sorry to teach you all to suck eggs here, ladies. You know what, Linda? Just, wash your hands. Why are we having to teach so many adults to wash their hands? That's another, thing about COVID. And people are, some people are robbing banks. It's not me, but back in the pre-COVID days, when I would be having a bad asthma day, and maybe it was because the air quality was bad and I would have to wear a mask out in public, I'd look at like I was robbing a bank. And so Carol, I have a lot of masks now. In fact, I've got some masks with my artwork on them because, why not? If I've got to wear one. Yeah, so that's the other thing I've noticed, Dan Beck, is stores are selling masks now. Now they finally got some in, and they're selling them for crazy amounts of money. A little. piece of thread I'm going to tuck in there. Yeah, I don't see the need to go back to doing that. I don't work in an office. I work at home anyways. So I don't. And let's be honest, I lived in yoga pants before COVID, so in fact, I just got a new load of stretchy pants in the mail the other day. It is weird. The other weird thing about COVID, when you have things like we had not long ago, like the washer and dryer go out and you have to buy a new one. Buying one online without going to see it in person, that was weird. There's a lot of fabric right here. I'm having trouble getting the needle through without poking myself. Yeah, comfort. It's all about comfort and peace. And if that means living in yoga pants and sitting in my art room doing some slow stitching with the music on, I'm all about that. So next week, we'll work on zombie dolls. I'll also be talking to you all about Artpocalypse 2020. There will be some prompts that'll be released next week. I'll release them before the 1st so y'all can get ready. I found a load of, and I mean a load of pencils. I used to teach drawing at Michael's before we moved, and painting. And yeah, they've been put away in a bag, and it's kind of one of those out of sight, out of mind cases. So I recently discovered them again as part of, moving things around in the art room. And I think for October, for Artpocalypse 2020, we're going to be doing I'm going to be doing some drawings, and I think I'm going to be using the pencils. And then at the end of the month, I'll keep what I like, and I'm going to get rid of the rest. And if there's stuff in there I don't like and I'm not going to use, then I'll pass it on to somebody who will, probably via a purge box. And yeah, so I'll share my journal and stuff with y'all next week, and we'll work on a zombie doll. Whoops. The slow stitching is very calming for me. I had a little too much coffee this morning. My hands feel a little shaky. You can't say that. I used to be one of those, when my husband first met me, he never saw me without makeup on. I was always dressed. I was working as an optician, so I had to be dressed, quote unquote, dressed for the office. And I worked at a couple places where you had to wear low heels. If you could wear slacks, but if you had a skirt on, you had to wear pantyhose, like the whole 9 yards. And now I'm like stretchy pants and a shirt with a shelf in it on a good day. So just taking little stitches all the way around. And if you don't want the stitches to show, of course, you can do more carefully, like how we did the attaching. Generally, I don't mind if they show a little bit. So, and I'm going to probably do decorative stitching around the edge anyways. And yeah, now my husband's probably thinking almost 40 years later, oh my God, what have I gotten myself into? He also has a birthday next Tuesday too. That's the other reason to not do Tuesday live. So y'all can wish him happy birthday. And my daughter's birthday is tomorrow. It's really hard to get this through right here. There we go. Pushing on the table works. Let's see. Yeah, all of the people who are doing all the essential work, grocery people, medical people, delivery people, police, fire, like we need to give them extra props because they have a hard job. I mean, up here, I don't know about in California where Lisa's at, but up here, the garbage people stopped delivering because of the air quality, but nobody else did. So we had air quality of like 501 at one point, and Amazon, UPS, they were still delivering. USPS, they were still delivering. Okay, Marion, yeah, my hair, as a reason it's going gray is because I've only been to the hairdresser once since this whole thing started. I just decided to let it go gray, at least for a while. I'm very, very gray, so my daughter's not too crazy about it. But at the moment, I'm just not feeling very up to having my temperature taken to get my hair done, because that's what you have to do. Thank you, Lisa. Yeah, I have a lot of wisdom strands in my hair then. It's almost completely gray. Has been for a long time, to be fair. I started turning gray when I was 20. I wish it was white. Mine is, kind of that weird, mousy, silvery gray color. So what's the first thing you all are going to do when COVID is over? I want to go traveling. I'd love to go on a road trip when it's safe to do so. I'd love to go on a road trip to visit some of you all. See family I haven't seen. Oops. Trying to watch what I'm doing down here and only looking at the chat occasionally so I don't poke myself. Yeah, so I would love to do all of those things. There is a great number of us that are in Oregon, all over the state of Oregon. And at some point, I think we should pick a place when COVID is over. And we should, at the very least, go have lunch, have some coffee. There's a lot. Kathy Whitney, I think, is here in Oregon somewhere. I am southwest of Portland, for those who are unaware, just outside Clackamas County, where 3 of the big fires are. See, how cute is that? And I haven't even done any stitching on it. I just attached all the pieces together. So you totally could do that. And you could just do these loose, and then you could later on like attach them together in a book. Let's see. Yes, hugs to everybody up. Yeah, Barbara's in Northern California. Lisa's kind of in the northern middle part of California. I think there's a lot of us that are like between northern to the middle of California and Oregon, maybe southern Washington. I think there's a lot of us. So it would be fun to like find a place to meet and get together. I wanted to show you all a preview for next week. This is what I discovered from my old teaching days. So this has to I don't know. We need to do something with this. So I need to work through it and decide if I'm keeping any of these. There's some like graphite, charcoal pencils and stuff in here that I don't know that I'm super huge fan of. So yeah, so if you haven't followed Anne Brooke yet, go check her out and see what you think about doing your own version of the slow stitch book. It's a great way to just do a new slow stitching project, but also, you know, work your way through using up some scraps and stuff. I also wanted to show you all, besides the hexagons, some things to do with scraps. I also use the same kind of glue stick to do these circles. They're done the same exact way with a cardstock circle. And then I've also done some of these. Bye, Kathy. So these are just little like fabric tiles. And this is from a channel called Handy Mum Lynn, Lin. And these can be done separately or glued together, or sewed together, or used. And I may even use some of these on the front of this book. And the inside of them is interfacing, which I can't find. Oh, here. This thick kind of interfacing that you get at the fabric store. Yes, it's been so terrible for so many people. Not buffering for me. Crap. Yeah, we need to get our flu shots too. I want to do it in a place where I feel safe. I'm not super feeling safe about going to the doctor's office for anything, which is why my appointment next week, I'm glad, is via telehealth. So anyway, so this is what I'm currently working on. Well, one of many things, but this is what I'm currently working on, is trying to get my slow stitch book finished. It's just really, really thick. And I may end up, I don't know what I'm going to do with the cover yet. I don't know. I have no idea. But yeah. All right. So I would love to hear what you're all doing. I would love to have you share it over in the Facebook art groups if you're a member. And if you're not, you can just request to join. You can find all of my groups and social media stuff, Etsy shop, and all of that stuff in the Linktree list of links in the video description once the recording of this goes live. Yeah, your tip for today is, if you're looking for a glue to use with fabric, you don't have to buy this one. Elmer's washable school glue, or a washable school glue, will work just fine. I do prefer the size of this one. It's more like a pen. I think it's easier to hold, but this works just great, and it's cheap and easy to find. So that's it. Don't forget to stay safe, stay creative, and stay healthy. Next week, we'll work on a zombie doll. We'll start working on the 4 Horsemen next week. A reminder, it'll be Wednesday, 10 a.m. I'll try to schedule it ahead of time. And that way you guys have notice. I can't do Tuesday, but we will do Wednesday. Don't forget to support each other as you can, and all of your favorite fellow creatives. And thanks. Yeah, I'm loving where this is going, and I can't see what kind of progress I make with it as time goes by, but this is a great start. I have no idea what I'm going to do to the back, but I love the front. All right, that's it for today. Go out and have a great day, everybody. And don't forget to do something nice for yourself because you deserve it. I'll see you later. Bye, guys.